What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by to check out this Fallout 76 video. And in today's video, we are going to be doing something crazy. We are going to be putting the Pounders mod on every auto style melee weapon in Fallout 76. Now, we all know that the auto axe is at the top of the list for the most damage, the most brutal melee weapon that you can run around with. But what about the other three? What about the chainsaw? What about the Mr. Handy Buzzblade and the one-handed Ripper? So let's jump on in and let's take a look and see how these weapons do. Alright, so to kick things off, here we are. We have the Furious Ripper. And all of these weapons I'm going to be showing have the same mods on them. Furious, Heavy Hitters, Strength, and Pounders. And this little weapon right here, this completely passed over one-handed melee weapon, is so awesome with this Pounders mod on there. I cannot believe that you can just run through super mutants like this, like you're just chopping down tree branches. I mean, it has absolutely taken this weapon to a whole nother level. And I was so surprised by this that the Ripper has like legitly became probably my absolute favorite one-handed melee weapon. I mean, it's so good. The AP drain is like absolutely nothing, and yet it still keeps dealing that consecutive Pounders damage with the Furious mod and the Strength and the Heavy Hitters. I mean, it is just tearing things up. We just ran through all these super mutants while using the Ripper. I mean, come on. How many people are actually doing this? How many people are actually just running around with the Ripper as their #1 melee weapon in the game? I can probably pretty much guarantee you that nobody is doing this, but hopefully after watching this, everyone's gonna be like keeping the Ripper in their back pocket as a little secondary go-to weapon. Now, to even take it even further, we're gonna test this thing out on a legendary Scorch Beast. As you can see here, the Ripper is just ripping through level 100 Scorched. Simple. Boom. Taking them down. But here's a great challenge. We are going to take on this legendary Scorch Beast with the Ripper only. Let's see how much damage this thing can do back to back with the Pounders mod on it. I mean, it is not the fastest thing in the world, but look at these damage numbers. I mean, come on. You're talking about a tiny one-handed melee weapon that is holding its own against a legendary Scorch Beast. Now, yes, the Scorch Beast is tearing me up a little bit, but I mean, this Ripper is straight holding its own with hardly any AP drain. I mean, boom. There you have it. The Ripper taking down a Scorch Beast with these mods on it. I mean, let's be serious. What do we have here? We have an Assaultron. Nothing stands in its way. The Ripper is, I think, legitly going to become the best one-handed melee weapon in Fallout 76 after this, because I was just so blown away by the amount of damage that it can do. Now, we're going to even go and test it out on a bunch of robots, because this was all about field testing. I needed to see how this thing acted against so many various enemies. And for the robots, let's face it, they pretty much didn't stand a chance against the Ripper, which is just absolutely crazy that it deals this much damage in this tiny little melee weapon that most people just probably pretty much scrap it, toss it to the side, don't care about it, because really, let's face it, who wants the Ripper? Who's running around the waste in the Ripper? If you're running around the waste in the Ripper, and that the Ripper has always been your go-to weapon put it in the comments, because I would really like to see how many people out there actually use this weapon. Because I'm gonna be honest, before doing this, I probably never even used the Ripper like at all. You know, I was always like, yeah, that's kind of a cool, you know, thought of melee weapon, but I was like, who really cares? Who's really gonna use the Ripper like that? So here we are at the Guardian. And the whole point of this is I wanted to see what max damage the Ripper could actually do against the Guardian. Now, it is too slow to defeat the Guardian, but with this Pounders on, it reaches an incredible 1,600 damage. And I was super surprised that it even got up this high. If this weapon had a higher speed to how it, you know, gives the damage, I think it could easily become the best melee weapon in the entire game. This thing, if it was a little bit faster, it would knock the auto axe out of the top spot. I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't burn up any AP. It's one-handed, doesn't weigh anything, and deals a ton of damage. So next up on the list, we have the Mr. Handy Buzzblade. Same mods, Furious Heavy Hitters, Strength, and Pounders. And we are going to do the same thing. We are just going to run through enemies, and we're going to see how does the Buzzblade match up to the Ripper. Now, this is a weapon. When I first started playing Fallout 76, I was running around with this a little bit. It was kind of easy to get your hands on back then, so I decided to revisit it with this Pounders mod, all because of what the auto axe does, and I am pleasantly surprised. It does take down Scorched really, really easily. And it's kind of a fun, you know, it's a fun weapon to run around with. I mean, who doesn't love a Buzzblade attached to a pole that just dominates everything? So here we are back at West Tech, here with the Super Mutants to just tear things up. It does do damage a little faster than the Ripper does. It definitely does. But I'm still, me personally, with this two-hand melee weapon, I think the one-handed Ripper, I think the Ripper does better. You know, so far, with seeing how this thing performs, I mean, don't get me wrong, it cuts them down, it does deal more damage, but I think the Ripper's just funner to use. I don't know, you know, leave it in the comments. You guys tell me which weapon out of all of these that we're going to be checking out today that you think are actually better than each other. You know what I mean? If you're a fan of the Ripper, let me know. If you're a fan of the Buzzblade, let me know. Of course, everyone's gonna love themselves a chainsaw. Everyone's gonna love themselves an auto axe. I mean, let's face it, top 2 melee weapons probably out there that everyone's using these days, especially if you're doing the Guardian, you know, bot glitch and you're just farming the Guardian. So there we have it. We just took down all the Super Mutants outside here at West Tech. And it was a decent go at it. I still think the Ripper was fun. All right, so here we are at Watoga. Now we're just gonna see how it holds up against all the robots here at Watoga. And honestly, all of these melee weapons with the Pounders on them and heavy hitters and everything, they destroy robots in this game. I mean, they don't stand a chance. So I still think that these two, you know, pretty much passed over melee weapons, the Ripper and the Mr. Handy Buzzblade. I think these two are gonna be kind of sought after items. Since it is harder to find the other two, well, the auto axe, you pretty much either have to buy it through the atomic shop or you have to earn it with your stamps. So here we are just slaying bots. And what is this, a bot parade? This was crazy. all of these bots in one section, but you know what? It really lets you see the performance and how much you can take down without losing your AP. And I mean, that was pretty awesome. It was able to slay all of these bots right here. My AP never hit 0. So, I mean, that's really good for anyone that's looking for a weapon like this. We know that you can run around with, pretty much run and gun or run and cut, whatever you want to call it. This does hold up pretty well for a kind of a, I guess, light-handed two-hand melee weapon. You know, it's not big and bulky like the auto axe. It's not big and bulky like a chainsaw, but it does do the job. It really does take down bots and take down simple enemies really easily. You know, it doesn't, I mean, you still are going to take this up close damage. It's just is what it is with these weapons. You got to get up close and personal, but I mean, this thing is just kicking ass. It's really just sawing through everything. So it was definitely fun cutting down all these robots at Watoga. I would do this every day. So here we are back to challenge a Scorch Beast with the Buzzblade. Now we saw how the Ripper did. Now let's see how a Scorch Beast does with the Buzzblade. How does now we instantly, right out the gate, we're instantly doing more damage. So sitting here taking down a Scorch Beast a lot faster than we did with the Ripper, because it is dealing a lot more damage. The Mr. Handy Buzzblade is a lot faster, deals more damage, but it's two-handed. It's not one-handed. But that was definitely a positive thing right there, that we just took down that Scorch Beast with a Mr. Handy Buzzblade. So if you don't have a Mr. Handy Buzzblade, you don't have a Ripper, I would go out and get one. So here we are back at West Tech again, and this time we have ourselves a chainsaw. So let's see what these super mutants have to say about a chainsaw. It's superb. I mean, you don't get no better than this unless you're using the auto axe. And let's face it, the chainsaw is just way more funner to use, honestly. Makes you feel like you're like Leatherface running around the waste just taking people down. Well, taking super mutants down. But it is definitely a fun weapon to use. It deals so much fast damage. I mean, it is right up there with the auto axe. The auto axe just, you know, is the GOAT when it comes to these two-handed melee weapons. But if you cannot get your hands on an auto axe, you don't feel like grinding for an auto axe, get your hands on a chainsaw. There's quite a few places where you can find chainsaws just laying around. If you have these mods, just add them to it and you'll be right on your way for being up there. And we're just going to jump straight to the Guardian just so I can show you. It is nearly as good as the auto axe. It does not reach the amount of damage that the auto axe does, but it does the consecutive damage so fast that if you don't have an auto axe, the chainsaw will do just fine for farming the Guardian. And there you have it. It was that simple. Chainsaw to the Guardian, no auto axe needed. Anybody can do it. You don't have a chainsaw, go get one. Don't waste your time with trying to get the auto axe if you do not feel like doing the grind to get one or buying one from the Atomic Shop. So speaking of the auto axe, here it is. We all know how the auto axe goes. It is the GOAT. I mean, absolute insane amount of damage. I mean, there's nothing that can stand in this weapon's way. It literally cuts down everything. Probably the best weapon in the entire game for damage output. I mean, it's damage per second. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And you got the dog running around here. He must be trying to give me something that he found. It's pretty funny. I love having the the dogs running around everywhere. It's just absolutely hilarious. And there's a, wait a minute. Did you just see that? I swear they just said there was a glowing Deathclaw over here near my camp, but I don't see anything. All right, we're going to have to go over here and check this out. There is a glowing Deathclaw running around here somewhere, and I just do not see it. It is popping up. There it is. It is kind of uncommon that there's a glowing Deathclaw running around here. So here we go. There's actually 2 of them. All right, this is cool. Taking them down with the auto axe. It is so uncommon for these 2 to be running around here. I was just like completely shocked that I had 2 glowing Deathclaws pop up right here at the White Spring near my camp. So to recap everything, we are looking at the Ripper on the top of my list for number 1, one-handed melee weapons with these mods on them. It's absolutely fantastic. If you do not have one, go get one and you will be pleasantly surprised. Second up, we are talking about the Furious Mr. Handy Buzzblade with all the same mods. Definitely fun to run around with. Definitely more DPS than the Ripper. But in my opinion, I think running around with the Ripper is a little more fun. But it's definitely still worth going out and getting. As you saw, it can pretty much take down anything. Following up with that is the Chainsaw. Pretty much, if you cannot get the auto axe, like I said, find yourself a chainsaw. And I mean, this thing, all it has on it is the 1, 2, 3, and 4-star mods. I didn't even upgrade anything else on it, and it still dominates and can also defeat the Guardian. So you can farm the Guardian with this weapon, no problem at all. So definitely go out and get yourself a chainsaw. You will be very happy you did so, and it will save you a headache of trying to get all the stamps or having the actual spend money and buy an auto axe from the Atomic Shop. So definitely go get a chainsaw. And last but not least, the GOAT, the best weapon, melee weapon in Fallout 76. The auto axe with the Furious Heavy Hitter Strength and Pounders, the same weapon that you see everyone dominating everything online that Fallout has to offer. I've even seen this thing dominate the Snake in the raid by jetpacking up to it and just absolutely destroying it with the auto axe. All right, so there you have it. Pounders on 3 other melee weapons besides the auto axe, and it is absolutely dominating. I hope everyone who has checked out this video goes out there and tries this for themselves, and please leave me a comment and let me know which one that you like best outside of the auto axe. As always, thanks for stopping by to check out this video. Please remember to hit that like, please remember to hit that subscribe, and I hope to see everyone back here on the next one and everyone out there in Fallout 76.